I'm Ruby Kalyan. I'm your host today, and today's topic is very interesting. As we start with one saying that marks, exams, homework pressure, tuitions after school. For years, parents have just asked one question: Is my child really learning or just memorizing? India answered this question with a bold vision called NEP 2020, and but for many parents, NEP 2020 still sounds like a policy term, difficult, confusing, and far from daily school life. So today we are breaking it down not for the policymakers, not for academics, but for the parents and students also. So our topic today is policy to practice, implementing NEP 2020, what it truly means, how it affects your child, and what is actually changing inside schools. And to make this conversation simple and meaningful, we'll have a very, you can say, impactful panel today with us. We have Dr. Manisha Shahni from who is the Director Principal of Delhi World Public School. Welcome, ma'am. Then we have Devinder Singh sir, who is from Hall Public School, Bangalore, who is the principal of that school. Welcome, sir,
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
good evening to
Again,
both of
public
you.
school.
And we have Ritu ma'am, who is our co-host today.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
So let's start with the simple question first. I'll start with Dr. Manisha. So my question to you is, ma'am, what is NEP 2020 in simple words for parents? Over to
All right. So, if I give you the literal information, and we've had countless discussions over NEP 2020, it's been like almost 5 years that we are continuously discussing on every educational forum. NEP 2020 is the star of the show. The national education policy that they have reframed and now added a national curriculum framework to that and a guideline on how education needs to be in totality. So they have focused on knowledge, skills, value systems, and these three main factors and information dissemination plus also integration of knowledge. This is the crux of NEP 2020. They have tried to reframe education in such a way that our culture, our Indian rootedness, also reflects in the education system, which was largely till now as according to the UK system. Now we have made a couple of changes which add our own value system to that education policy. So, by and large, for parents, I feel what all you need to know is the education and the dissemination of education remains quite the same. But yes, a crucial key factor has been added. One, I think many parents, especially in the urban areas, give a lot of stress on English language speaking. And you know how you need to have schools which focus on English language and how that takes away from our culture. So one of the very main thing that education policy has added is multilingualism, and that is important. Uh, Multicultural education is important. So a lot of the things in NEP 2020 are very beneficial for our education system and actually reflect a lot more to the education system that was followed earlier on in our era, which we said the Shishya Parampara and the Gurukul system. A lot of that has been, if you read the NEP carefully, you will see there's a lot of context taken from there.
Yes,
So,
that's a
which is a
very
good thing.
important point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very important point you shared, ma'am, today. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that. Now let's move towards Devinder, sir. And sir, my question is, as a parent, how will NEP 2020 change my child education?
Good evening, all of you, my co-panelists and Edu-Leaders and Ruby ma'am. And first of all, thank you to GL for inviting all of us for this fruitful discussion. And excuse for the Saturday because of maybe our own reason could not happen this thing. And as ma'am started with the same thing, Manisha ma'am, now it's been wherever we go and we use the terms NEP. Before coming to the answer of this question, how the NEP will be helpful for child education or for my child in that way, as a parent, if we see. Before that, being an educator, if we see, once the NEP 2020 was introduced, that time it was a lockdown or COVID period, something we can say. So maybe the execution part from that particular time, it was not could be happen in this way it should be, because at the time of the introduction of NEP, it was said to all of us, and by 2020, all school will be enabled. So I'll come on that part later on why was and whether it is success or not, something like that. Since then, all the educators, we, that especially the teachers, are listening few words regarding this NEP. From there, I'll come to the how it is beneficial for the child. Before that, we were listening those pointers and some keywords were listed with our education system, maybe in various draft, maybe in various policy, as ma'am had added. Now it's a time and era for the NCF. The words are, if you see the competency-based practices, if it's the experiential learning, if you say the multilinguistic approaches, if it's the integrated things. So all those, even nowadays in implementation, skill, vocational, coding, these things, Ruby ma'am, you also must have heard. And 4 5 years before, those were existing, yes, but it's not in the implementation. Now, very good factor, I'll say, thankful to the NEP. Now, teachers, at least they are aware, I think. So, what these words actually are. Earlier, they were existing, but we don't know. I'm sorry to say, but really, we were not, these words were not in the practice. So, these words, what I'm talking about, from those words, now, parent and we teachers, and definitely edu leaders, they are taking those words into the practices. And once those words are coming into the practices, that is really practice, and it's really helpful for the students. For example, I'll come how it's helpful for my child. In that way, we used to always concern about the marks. If we see marks or the grade, how much child is getting and obtaining, and that to free the cognitive skill. So cognitive learning, memorize, you write. So whatever child is writing on the paper, that is the outcome of the child. If we see in the today's context, if the father of Sachin Tendulkar, say a practical life example, would have seen the cognitive skill of the Sachin Tendulkar, so definitely we missed one Bharat Ratna or maybe the god of cricket. No, 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 you are not very good in schooling. You have to play, confined to the studies. So he developed the skill of course, the cricket. In the same way, we can say the Saina Nehwal manual. So, LEP is focusing upon the multi-directional and multi-talent. Maybe we call it now skill. In our word, it's now skill. So, first thing is that skill. And in the same way, and aligned with the LCF FS, if you see, it talks about more. Now, one more word you must be listening, that is holistic development. Holistic development aligned with the holistic progress card. So, you don't have to judge or assess the child on the basis of its cognitive development, means the memorize or the rote learning. So, by this NEP, shift has been done from the memorize, rote learning or memory based learning to the competency based learning. And we in our lemon language, we can say the content to the concept. Earlier you mug up and you write. Now concept based learning or the competency based question, competency based learning says you understand the concept first, accordingly you write. So
Right.
10% to the 50% now we have shifted to the competency based practices. Little bit
Right.
I'll start with. Thank you,
Right.
ma'am.
That's very interesting perspective that sir you had shared. Now in your discussion you mentioned about this marks and exam also. So our question, the next question will be related to the same. So will NEP 2020 reduce exam and the mark pressure?
Definitely, if it is implemented properly. You must understand that right now we are a very well populated country and we have n number of school systems with us. Okay. Now CBSE has implemented NEP 2020 only with this mindset that this race for marks is reduced and children become more independent learners, critical thinkers, problem solvers, collaborative decision makers. All of that, the flexibility is given in NEP 2020 that the whole system will gear up towards that. But please understand, parents have a very important role to play in this. Now, NEP has structured the foundational and the middle and the senior, the preparatory stage, sorry, the foundational, preparatory, middle, and senior stages and have given certain benchmarks. Okay, but still today parents come to us and say उस स्कूल में तो इतना इतना इतनी काउंटिंग सिखा दी, आपके स्कूल में तो सिखाई नहीं इतनी काउंटिंग, आप उनके बच्चों ने तो अल्फाबेट्स भी कर लिए हैं, आपके बच्चों ने हमारे स्कूल में तो आपने अभी अल्फाबेट्स भी नहीं सिखाए. So parents have to understand that NEP builds the structure in between here to provide flexibility for the benefit of the students. There is more individualized approach towards learning in this particular policy. Now, if it is not implemented properly, then what is the difference between what we were doing 5-10 years before and what we are going to be doing now?
Right.
So this is a parent and child focused policy, and the parent needs to be the partner to the school when we are implementing this. So nothing is going to happen unless the parent also understands what NEP 2020 is about. I think part of the work that you all are doing, for educators, you need to reach out to the parents as well and have parent discussion forums. What do you understand from NEP 2020? Have you read the policy? And if you have read it, what is your take on it? I think we
Right.
need to focus on that as well. Thank you for that
Exactly.
question, though.
I love the way that you highlighted the point. Definitely, that is even more mandatory. Even our question is
Yes,
about the same. As a parent, we usually, every parent is having the same thought about the old education system. They compare every time. So
absolutely.
that's the thing, that every time as a parent, if we need to ask, like we'll be asking, is NEP 2020 better than the old education system? Every time this kind of question will be coming. So Devendra sir, what do you think, what we should answer to them and how we should answer to them?
So regarding, if you can make me
Yeah,
connect
yeah,
once again, would
I'll
you?
tell you. So basically, the NEP 2020 is better than old education system, is it? So this is
See,
usually the
ma'am,
parents are asking. They are having the question about the same.
See, ma'am, I'll take you from the where Manisha ma'am has left.
Mhm,
From there to in continuation, maybe my perception may be little different.
mhm,
If we see the old education system, so in that way, our context is old education system before Mekale. One, that is one aspect to try to get it in that way. Another thing, old education system is before NEP. NEP is not new, ma'am. If you see the NEP of 86, Kothari Commission, and if you find out the words, more or less it's the same. What I was talking about, all those words were existing, but not in the practices. That is one thing. Maybe because of the government or kind of implementation be done, you never been heard the same thing in the way we were rigorous training were given. So many seminars are being. Maybe the use of technology is making it more powerful and impactful NEP forever. But if you go through the content is almost same. Already, the only thing is that implementation part is now more rigorous and definitely in more cares. That is one thing. So we are learning out nowadays what NEP is. If our old generation before 2020, if you ask anybody what is NCF, once it came into the 2005, nobody is aware about. Even our generation, as a teacher, Manisha ma'am would be agree with me. Our generation teacher, they were not very much aware about the NCF 2005.
mhm.
Once the NCF FS now NCF education, school education came into the existence, it's a people. I would appreciate the platform and people like you giving the more awareness about those terms and definitely new reforms and the system. That is one thing. Now we are coming in the old and new. So old for me, old is the Mekale before the Mekale. And if you see what our education system from the Nalanda, it's not any myth. So definitely it was born and the burning and ashes were going on year not months it took. So they were discussing about कि जैसे if you see the चाणक्य always says कि यदि आपको किसी country का culture और उसकी education खत्म करनी है, first of all you try to hit on the education system. This is what they have done. So if you slowly see the gradually and that very minutely this education policy, that is new education, that absolutely is a national education policy. Slowly and gradually they are bringing that old system into the existence. If we see the Panch Koshi Avidharna, Madam has started in the beginning regarding the NCF 2022. Ma'am clearly mentioned the Panch Koshi Avidharna, Apan, Swayam,
Right, right,
Kosh. Okay.
right.
So slowly and gradually,
Hmm.
Panchbhuti Avdharna also included into that.
Correct.
Backless policy means skill education. What is skill? Again, I'll connect with the old system. What skill is vocational? Vocational, if I decode the vocational, that is Mahatma Gandhi's word is given unto that. Apna hat means something he has given the term I remember in Hindi, I don't remember in Hindi, Swarojgar Yojana or Rojgar Unmukhi Shiksha. Now I can recall Rojgar Unmukhi Shiksha. It means Gandhiji says he was emphasis on skill education from that time itself. Now we are introducing into the school system from the skill 6 to 8 that is compulsory. One very good example, ma'am. If I'm asking you one question, which stream till 12th you were there? Which stream you opted for? Science, commerce, or humanities?
Sir,
Ritu ma'am.
I was from science, sir.
Science means I'll ask you the photosynthesis.
Right, sir.
करेक्ट हर
Correct.
6 स्टैंडर्ड टू 12th स्टैंडर्ड हर किसी बच्चे ने पढ़ा होता है आप
Correct.
सच बताइएगा मुझे फोटोसिंथेसिस कहीं आपके पॉडकास्ट में यहाँ पर आपकी प्रोफेशन में या ओम्स लॉ आपने पढ़ा हुआ कहीं काम आ रहा है
Not sure, sir. मेरा तो बहुत इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड है. We are
नहीं
from
नहीं ना
the
तो इन योर प्रोफेशन एनीवेयर
right.
यू आर
No. I'm not sure. I'm not able to even.
आई एम नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग आवर इंडियन
I'm
एजुकेशन
not able to connect. Maybe it's we are
सिस्टम
using, but I'm not able to connect where we are
Wait,
using.
wait, wait. Can I add to this? Sir,
Yeah,
can I,
please,
Yeah,
if you
ma'am.
give me permission, can I
Definitely, ma'am.
answer that?
No, no,
please.
no
Okay.
permission, ma'am. Please, it's a discussion. Please.
Okay, Dev sir, I would like to say here जो लाइफ साइंसेस है ना जो आपने फोटोसिंथेसिस का एग्जांपल लिया या ह्यूमन बॉडी का एग्जांपल लिया जो लाइफ साइंसेस है ना उनका एप्लीकेशन हर जगह लाइफ में होता है एंड द रीजन व्हाई वी टीच द वे वी टीच और व्हाट वी आर टीचिंग इज बिकॉज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ प्रोसेसेस इज इम्पोर्टेंट अगर आप ये कहें कि हम MUN क्यों कराते हैं स्कूल में हम MUN हमारे को क्या करना है कि लिथुआनिया में क्या हो रहा है या उज्बेकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है या कजाकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है वी डोंट नीड टू डू ऑल ऑफ दिस राइट बट वाई डू वी डू इट वी डू इट बिकॉज वी आर वाइडनिंग द फोकस ऑफ द चाइल्ड जो अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं वो बहुत क्लोज दे आर वेरी क्लोज टू अस राइट सो वी डोंट हैव अ गुड पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन देम वी डोंट हैव अ वाइडर फ्रेम ऑफ रीजनिंग फॉर देम सो वी गिव द child an opportunity to solve problems at a larger scale. जब वो larger scale पे problem solve करता है तो उस perspective को अपने scale पे लगाना आसान हो जाता है right? So whatever we are doing there is a purpose behind it. So if you are saying that Ohm's law or your photosynthesis is not finding application in your daily life, I don't think that is correct. There is an application but like ma'am said कि वो reference को समझ पाना और उसको apply कर पाना that is somewhere missing. वो जैसे हम करते हैं ना we do a workshop and a workshop is incomplete or an activity is incomplete until and unless you give a debrief of that activity कि हमने क्यों करवाई और इसका result आपके लिए क्या निकला. तो जब आपने initially बोला कि competency और learning objectives और learning competency हमने ऐसे words use करे हैं पर उनका application हमें नहीं पता because half the teachers you ask what is a learning competency they will not be able to tell you. They will be able to tell you a learning objective, they will not be able to tell you a learning competency. ये competency में आता है. आपने जो objective है आपने photosynthesis समझा दिया. Competency क्या है उसका application कैसे करा आपने that is a competency. Am I right? I'm
Right.
sorry.
Sir, Devendra sir want
Now,
to highlight
I
some
want,
point.
yes, I
Please,
only have five
please.
minutes. Okay, it's
हाँ जी.
nothing right and wrong. It's a healthy discussion, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Manisha ma'am, from my talk, I wanted to shift from there to right now, where what we are talking about. So,
Absolutely.
for example, photosynthesis or Ohm's law, I was asking to the Ritu ma'am, and Ritu ma'am said, no, exactly not, but somewhere we can correlate. I was coming on that only. So it was not earlier when we were the student, we were not knowing about what's the use of the same thing, correct? So now my second part starts. So now by the I'll take the example of MUN also. Okay. So I'm coming on that. So now at least we are able to connect and understand the concept since the NEP is introduced and we are very much now aware about those all words. For example, experiential learning. And we talk about the 21st century skills. Next, we talk about the SDH, Sustainable Development Goal. So whenever you are teaching any subject, any topic. Now, at least teachers are aware about you have to find out the value from this particular topic, particular concept, how we can correlate into our daily life. Say we are giving the project on Ohm's law or photosynthesis. So at least now teacher and student are aware about this practical we can do in collaborative way. That is one part of the 21st century skill. This is what I wanted to take you into that. Now we are aware. Oh, long back we have done this. It was a collaborative project, and maybe it was an inquiry-based learning. Better you try to find out how the leaves are preparing. Earlier, we were not aware, though we were doing those things, but we were not aware about this is inquiry-based project or project-based learning. Yes, Manisha ma'am, this is what now teachers and students are knowing and they are getting aware. That is because of the NEP rigorously coming into the practice. That is one thing. And very good example you have given the MUN. Wherever I go about speaking the MUN, and whenever I need to give some emphasis on that, sir, please speak something. So you rightly said, and very good example I used to take. Gone are the days when we put up into the by mugging up one paper, and we are into the debate of the English. You have to speak on this either spontaneous or 1 minute. 1 minute you are coming with the mugging up and rote learning things. And MUN is a very good example of 21st century skill. If you see the four C's, all four C's are covered into that. The students are given any project. I am using the term project on the particular topic. What is happening? Why the policies of the US being changed toward the India? So they'll do the rigorous practice. That definitely come under the critical thinking. Communication skill enhances. You see the collaborative work. So MUN is a very best example. If you need to all skill 433, all skill 433 around 7 skill if you see or 8 skill if you see all the skill you can compromise. Best example the MUN which comprises all the skills of critical thinking, communication, criticism, and maybe the collaborative learning. And MIT always come the media, the IT factors, and the definitely the training and research work also comprises. If you see the all factors, it comes, and that is the demand of nowadays. It's not the rote learning. You have the so suppose you are presenting yourself for the debate. So debate definitely you need to come with the mug up. Spontaneous questions are hard. They need to frame in this way by analyzing the scenario of the current situation. So in that way, I wanted to shift my concept from there. Earlier, we were not aware. We were reading, they were teaching, and we were reading, we were writing. What's the meaning of that thing into our this practical life, application based? So that was not there. Now at least we are aware.
Right. Very,
Thank you.
very well explained and discussed this topic. We are having SK sir also, Mr. SK Singh.
Good evening, Manisha and Devanji.
Good evening,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
So we
Sorry to
already
be
discussed.
late, but to
Busy man hai aap.
Busy man, correct. आप आ गए यही काफी है.
I know.
sir, इतनी भी गुस्ताखी मैंने नहीं की.
आगे भी
Right.
हमारा format ये है.
Okay. So we are discussing about NEP. So our next question will be about the skills. What new skills will students learn under this NEP 2020? So the question will have the question from SK sir. So we want to hear from you.
See, very simple thing. NEP is a journey from India to Bharat. Go back to the basics. Take example of Gurukul, where everything was practiced. The Guru was not only who was focused to the knowledge. If you talk about the Bhikshatan, Guru used to teach, go मांग के लाओ, लकड़ी तोड़ के लाओ, पूजा का सामान लाओ. In a Gurukul, that was a skill-based teaching. तो धनुष बाण चलाने की there was not a theory, it was a completely practical. So another example, if you talk about, I have a driving license, I got a new car. The day first having driving license will help you to drive the car because your new car is on the stake, risk, and your own life is on the risk. So NEP is nothing new. Coming back to the basic which was left because of the Western effect. You remember one thing, Macaulay went back to the Britishers and told very clearly that we cannot rule India. There was a heavy discussion in the British Parliament why Indians have a very systematic learning theory. So what you have to do with, you have to break their mythology. They are the strong believer of the God, and God is in form of nature. God is in form of water. God is in form of forest. God and goddess. So they decided, let's break this theory and this all Montessori and what you say, fake frictions has entered into. And you will be surprised to know our Bhagavad Gita, managed by ISKCON, has been changed maybe more than 1,000 places. So NEC, NEP 2020 in a very large contest, if you want to be a world leader, or again India want to be a Sone ki Chidiya, so all Guru has to realize only ki what we are talking, am I doing it or not? Let's not go out of box. Very simple practices which you are doing. We talk from the assembly in number of things. How many people follow it? Switch off the lights. I'm talking about the teachers. The students are the secondary one. They will copy and it will take time. So in a short, if I say NEP 2020, which clearly says journey from India to Bharat is difficult, but damn sure if one Ramdev Baba can change the yoga from local to international, I think that we have 1,000 things to take it forward. This is what I observe from NAP. And last point, NAP is not for studying anything, reading anything, or implementing anything. It's for practicing things from your
Right,
heart.
right. Very, very well explained, sir. So, the obviously, when we are talking about NEP 2020, we are having multiple things that the questions that we are getting from the parents, from the educators. So, in our next agenda, we'll be having the question from some of the parents and the edu leaders. How are the school actually? Basically, this specific question is from the leaders only. How are the school actually implementing this NEP 2020? And over to Manisha, ma'am, if you could highlight this point.
I will take that up. Thank you for that question, Ritu. I feel that NEP gives you a lot of leeway. It gives you a lot of room on doing things in your own way, as long as you are getting all of those integration of subjects done. So I'm going to use an example from my school. What happens is that normally every school has an annual day. And what do you see in annual days? You see people dancing on Bollywood songs,
Correct.
or there are some patriotic songs, or there are some compositions, and there are some dances, maybe folk songs, or there is a theme, right? What we have done over the last couple of years is we have changed our annual days and made them into community events. So now we don't call it an annual day, we call it the community event. And what happens in a community event is it's a dynamic event, it's not a static event. So the parents are not supposed to sit in one place and watch a show. The parents actually move around the entire campus and they watch a movie, which is a 3-hour movie in which children are performing, but they're also presenting like they are presenting a project, and that project is performed. So for example, I know it's a little hard to conceptualize. So for example, we have an exhibition. Okay. Now for that exhibition, I take that topic, that the topic is India. Okay.
Right.
So if my school has 3 floors, I divide the 3 floors into 3 areas. There is the physical features of India. Then there are people of India in the second floor. And on the third floor, I put down the future of India. So I've divided India into 3 particular areas. When I do the physical features, what happens? All the physical features and what is there present in those physical features is performed. So what do we cover? We cover geography.
Correct.
We cover history.
Right.
We cover, how the changes came into the maps, etc. And we also cover a part of, the art and culture in the physical features.
Right.
अगर आप हिमालयाज दिखाओगे, आप हिमालयाज का टोपोग्राफी दिखाओगे, आप उसके साथ उसके लोग दिखाओगे, वहाँ पे क्या होता है, कल्चर कैसा है, वो सब दिखाओगे, right? When you come to the people of India, and in here you will cover the culture, the festivals, the music, the dance, the language, the different languages, and you cover all of those, and you integrate all principles of language. Again, history, culture, part of civics when you do people, and you also do when you do the physical features, you also cover science, because you do the hills, the evaporation cycles, the dams, you do all of that, right? Then you come to the future of India, and then you talk about innovation. Then you get into space, then you get into all of the new inventions that are happening, and you cover all aspects in terms of AI, maybe your projects which are happening, the initiatives you are taking. So what have you done? Now you have created a knowledge based, but music and dance included, and you have also given the parents a dynamic display of how learning is happening via integration, and every principle covered, every subject covered, every topic covered for every class.
That's really very unique, and that's very really good initiative, even I must say.
I'll give you one more example if
Please,
I
please,
have a
please,
minute.
please.
So now, supposing you want to do this, this is done for one particular year. You've created an exhibition, which is a dynamic flow of events. Now, what you do is you can do this with every subject. Supposing I want to host a literature fest and I want to have that as a dynamic event. What will I do? I will not call an author. I will not call someone from outside and say that, okay, now sit down in front of me and give my children a talk on your literary journey. I will not do that. I will take the child through different books of different genres and create a literature fest around the learning journey of the child where literature is concerned. We talk about when SK Sir was saying about the culture, about how things have been, back to Bharat.
Right.
You tell me, in which particular English speaking school do you have the original texts? किसने किसने सुना है मैथिली शरण गुप्त का नाम? किसने you don't teach them. You teach children Shakespeare and Hamlet and Othello, उसके सारे Shakespeare के सारे plays, but you don't look at your own texts. You do them as a reference. महादेवी वर्मा का नाम जरूर सुना होगा because उसकी कोई poem लगी हुई है. But if you talk about Munshi Premchand and if you talk about our authors or really older books, parents also don't know it. अगर आप बोलोगे किसी को, अगर आप grade 5 के किसी बच्चे को बोलोगे काबुली वाला पढ़ी है, उसके parents ने भी नहीं पढ़ी हुई, बच्चा तो दूर की बात है.
Right.
So here is where you get, this is what NEP, it is so powerful because it gives you the permission to play around with things.
Yeah.
That's why NEP is important. I don't know where we started from, but we are ending here.
No, these are the relevant examples. Even these are the extremely relevant things in today's rapidly changing education ecosystem, we must say.
Yeah.
I hope all we agree on this, sir. SK sir, we will be having some more question about the problems usually what we are facing. So we'll have the answer from Devendra sir. Devendra sir, what do you think? What problems do school face during this NEP while following the NEP?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Manisha, ma'am, I like the way you presented. We are going with the different writers, authors from outside the country, and we are giving emphasis and we do talk about the moral values and even the values, not moral, even the values we talk. And we have the book prescribed, especially in our junior classes, of the foreign examples book. And when we talk about the characters, when we talk about the moral values, ma'am, slowly I'll come on to your answer. I'll continue because the way
Yeah.
madam presented, it is matching somewhere in my thought and what SK sir was talking about, India to Bharat. Why don't we talk about on the moral, ethical, being a very good father, very good, maybe the husband, maybe the son. We don't talk about the Bhagwan Ram. Ramayana we never talk. But we'll be discussing about the very fancy and author books and her schooling. We never talk. Who's the best son? The moment it was said to him कि आपको वन जाना है, जी बताइए जो आ गया. Who is the best example from apart from this? And today, what to whom we are learning? क्यों जाना है भाई? I had to have this Rajya Abhishek. This is my position now. So why don't we teach to our kids? Even I'll not take the celebrity name in the KBC. I'll not. Sorry, on this platform I'll not take. When it was asked about the Lakshman's wife name, she was not able to. And very good celebrity. Our own kids are admiring about those people. If from the beginning it was given and we talk about the moral values, why don't we go to our own is mythological evidences. So I'm not going, it's a mythological or history, I'm not going to, but it should be inculcated right from the beginning, from the root, to make it really from India to Bharat. It should be implemented. We always talk about the Gita sir was talking about the very well. It's encrypted in our Indian system itself. Around 50 plus Gitas or Srimad Bhagavad Gita is different value is going on. And ISKCON is something different, Gita, if you take. Ashtavakra Gita is something different. So why don't we take the values from there? If we talk about the first motivational lecture, we all of us are aware about, it was given in the Kurukshetra by the Sri Krishna to Arjuna. So NEP somewhere is talking about come back to our roots.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Panchakoshiya Avdharana
Perfect.
is given there. Manomaya to body, mind to body. If you cover all those aspects, it comes from there only. But we don't talk about. We have to see which book is good, which book is written by the foreign authors. Why are kids, all of us are there about the series of what's the name? I don't remember. Harry Potter. All of them, they are very well aware about the Harry Potter. If you ask about who was the wife of Lakshmana, they don't know. Somewhere is mistake. Sorry, our own. जैसे सर ने कहा था कि first before sir joined, sir, I was talking about the same concept. मैकाले it was discussed in the
Yeah.
parliament. कि सबसे पहले उनकी शिक्षा व्यवस्था पे चोट करनी है. Before you join, I was talking the same thing. और उन्होंने वो कर भी दिया. ऐसा नहीं है.
To some extent, they have done a biggest damage.
यस सर. और आई एम सॉरी टू फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस, जब हम भी अपने बच्चे को बाहर लेके जाते हैं, वी टॉक अबाउट द बारबी डॉल एंड फैंसी डॉल. वी नेवर टेक द डॉल with the covered dupatta and sari. I'm sorry. This is
नहीं नहीं,
somewhere
it's okay.
related to our Indian culture. What NEP is trying to bridge in between. Now, the problem which we are facing, ma'am, as such, there is no problem, but problems are there. Is not problems. So we can say the challenges. And slowly and gradually, all the stakeholders, along with the Edu leaders, they are bringing upon these changes overcome. One thing practically, I'm talking about not to discuss and to writing words something, but practically what we faced, maybe some other leaders must have faced those things. One is infrastructural issue. What infrastructural? Earlier we were teaching pre-primary, the separate section, even in the building, school, the section itself is a different design in that way. Now, when you talk about the first 5 years. So first 5 years, definitely you need to add on two more classes, first and second. So somewhere we were administration, management, or infrastructural point of view. So very difficult to merge those sections because in many schools this section is different, this section is different. Second administrative approach regarding the NEP implementation is administrative handling. You must have qualified or hired the teacher as per the maybe the ECC trained. Here you are talking about one to first and second. Maybe the PTC and BEd. So this is little administrative issue. Third one is 1 to 5, coordinator is different, pre-primary is different. So this on paper, we are trying to bring it up, but infrastructure, we cannot. Initially, when it was implemented, I heard to sir also, initially when it was implemented, it was asked about you teach them into the local languages. And whenever you are trying to teach the local language, अरे यार वो स्कूल का स्टैंडर्ड ठीक नहीं, वहाँ हिंदी बोलते हैं. And if Hindi, yes sir. आज यदि मैं पॉडकास्ट में पूरी कंटिन्यूअसली बात करूं हिंदी में, तो रितु मैम बोलेंगे वो सर को नहीं बुलाने का, ही इज नॉट एबल टू स्पीक इन इंग्लिश एंड ही इज नॉट वेरी गुड इन स्पीकिंग. But NEP
नहीं
is not
sir.
talking about, no, no, just an example. This is what our society, whenever you go to any school, colleges and reception, you talk about anything. तो वो एक हिंदी बोल रहा है, उसको प्रेफरेंस नहीं मिलेगा इंग्लिश. This is our society mindset is. So the problem is at that particular age when the child is earning, and 1 to 5 में till the 3rd year of the child, even the 6th year of the child, हमने कभी उसको कोई ग्रामर नहीं सिखाई, लेकिन वो फिर भी बोलना और सुनना सीखता है. How? From the environment, not because of the grammar. And we start learning English सबसे पहले present tense, past tense, perfect tense. That is not the correct method. What from the surrounding we can gather, and this concept keeping in the mind, and if we must have designed to talk to them into their local language. That is not exactly Hindi or mother tongue. You talk to them into the local language. So their grasping is very. Once you go the higher level, in 11, 12, they don't talk about in the fancy. Whenever the examples are coming, all the PGTs are giving the example in the practical, their mother tongue in whichever area. So second problem is not a problem. The challenge, and initially it was there, multilingual. That may be the problem. So it's not the problem. It may be the challenge. It's somewhere when we are sitting in the AC rooms and we talk about the digital infrastructure, but still India is digitally divided because only 30 to to 40% what the India we see from the AC rooms, that is not the exactly India. Once I visited to the school, there were amoeba. I'm sorry to share this example. I cannot say that very good school governing by the Indian government or central government. Picture रखा हुआ था amoeba का. I asked why it is so. Picture is amoeba. Sir, हमारे यहाँ microscope नहीं. SK sir, if you remember, at the time of two board policies, paper was sent directly to the school and printing is to be done. They
Right,
need very
right.
good LAN and Wi-Fi. It was provision was given by Sayyam Bharadwaj sir, क्योंकि there are still school in India कि जहां तक इंटरनेट और स्पीड पर नहीं पहुंच रहा है और आपके पास 12 प्रिंटिंग टोन प्रिंटर्स नहीं है. So from that point of view, again I would rather say digitally divide है तो digitally infrastructure अभी उतना equipped नहीं.
Right.
So, and regarding the training, yes, of course, is going on training, and I'm very thankful to platform like you people, and digital platform is given for the training. So we are not dependent on the training given by the government or some specific agencies also. In the YouTube or in the digital platform, trainings are given. So if the teachers are very much sincere, they can learn, listen, and learn. Madam has faced something challenges. What I was talking about, the some practical challenges of dividing the classes into first, second, merging into that, or infrastructural issues I was talking. If ma'am is having some practical issues with the school and parent something, so can be add on into that.
Yeah. Anyone. If you want to add on, Manisha ma'am, if you are having some points that you, as a
I'm talking
obviously,
to ma'am only.
Yeah. No. My only issue with NEP is that is it going to be implemented in the spirit that it has been written? The problem is not with the NEP as a policy. The problem is with the implementation, and implementation largely rests upon the teachers. So the teacher training is a really very important tool in implementing it in a correct manner. So if we are trying to shift from normal rote learning to experiential learning to to have more project based learning, for that the teachers also need to change their mindset and approach towards the learner. जैसे एसके सर ने बोला, education system in our country has always been one of our assets. It has been strong from the beginning. Problem कहाँ हुई? You've already invented the wheel, so there is not much you can do to change the wheel. But people still try and add different things to the wheel to make it relevant. And unfortunately, उसको set करने में, उसको relevant बनाने में कई बार वो काफी irrelevant हो जाता है. So we actually, as educators, we are aware that our system has roots in a very sound practice. The unfortunate part is, over the years, it has got lost, it has got diluted, and it has been deliberately diluted. So, to come back to its former glory, we have to do a lot of things. One of the main crux of NEP is that what is the purpose of education? Why do you want to educate a child? Do you want to make them career ready, or do you want to make them life ready? It is only when you make a child life ready are you fulfilling the purpose of education. Education is, in the simplest of terms, किसी को बंदा बनाना, to make them a right human being. Unfortunately, there is another addition to this. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's another addition to this. We now not only have to make them a proper human being, we also have to make them a global citizen. So you have to now, in a changing world, manage that expectation as well. So if you want to make them a global citizen, then you have to teach them languages. You have to teach them what is happening in the rest of the world. So rooted in our own culture, foundation in our own culture, but also multicultural, also diverse, also globally relevant. So when Sir says that, our system is the best, I don't have any problems with it. It is the best. But to make it into something better, that is the challenge. And वो हम अपनी चीजों को छोड़ के नहीं कर सकते, उसमें ऐड करके ही कर सकते हैं. So that's my take on it. I don't know whether Sir will agree or not, but this is my take on it, on what education really actually means.
Actually, difference of opinion always end up with something positive. Difference of opinion gives you the another area to think of.
There is no
Yeah.
difference of opinion, SK sir. I completely agree with
Need
what you're saying.
need not to be completely agree. I always
Yeah.
believe once you are diversified with the thoughts, practices, you rightly said language is important. And once child grow, they go explore the world. Of course, they will not be able to understand every literature of physics, chemistry, or mathematics or research in Hindi. Fine, perfectly all right. The major point, what country or the complete globe is facing, you see the latest example of Americans. Europeans, who has constructed America? These all Europeans. There was just island, there was nothing. A gentleman who has been elected came up with the what kind of mind thought, and whole world is in the threat. So this is what balance need to be taken care. Ki, are we inventing these missiles, bombs for any constructive work? Why there should be safety Rafale? Why Rafale is required for India? So it's not a small thought. It's a bigger thought. As an Indian, if you talk about the culture, you see the library of Nalanda, hand scripts, written material. It took 6 months, it was burning. We were too much. You talk about mathematics calculation, you talk about the distance of the sun to earth. रामचरित मानस के चौपाई में लिखी हुई है. तो हमारा अभी जो दिल का काम है ना, वो दिमाग को थोड़ा दूर रख के मैं ये कह सकता हूं कि हम सभी इंडियंस के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी भी है कि अगेन वी आर इन द क्यू ऑफ गेटिंग इंडिया एज अ ग्लोबल गुरु. I don't say global power, because ancient culture, see, the society and culture, these are the two different things. Society is just imposing people ki we have this, that and all, but the culture is actually matter of practice. इतनी diversity के बाद, इतने languages के बाद, इतने different तरीके के बाद भी still we have something common, and which is of course a matter of again practice and practice. Army units में once you visit, you find in the one unit people from Tamil Nadu, people from Kerala, people from Gujarat, people from Punjab. It's a beautiful bouquet of happiness. So NEP is again, if I say nothing, just recharge yourself. Let's not talk about खाना हम क्या खाते हैं, हमको पता नहीं है क्या? रेस्टोरेंट हम जाते किस लिए हैं? और शॉपिंग मॉल जाने का तो आज तक किसी ने ऑब्जेक्टिव ही नहीं बताया. हम घूमने जाएंगे और पैसे लुट के आएंगे. हम और एक्स्ट्रा लास्ट एवरी शॉपिंग मॉल जर्नी एंड्स विद द रेस्टोरेंट कि चलो कुछ खा लेते हैं, पहले घूम के थक लेते हैं और फिर कुछ खा लेते हैं. अरे व्हाट वी आर टेकिंग इन इफ वी आर नॉट रियलाइजिंग
See,
इट इज राइट टाइम टू रियलाइज.
if I'm sorry, sir, I'm
प्लीज
interrupting,
प्लीज
but
प्लीज प्लीज.
just I would just like to here add on that NEP has given us the opportunity to reframe a
Exactly.
lot of the education in our country today. So I think it's an opportunity for us to, when NEP says about 21st century skills, it's not talking about subject matter knowledge.
Right.
It is talking about things like resilience. It is talking about things like inclusivity, diversity. It's talking about tolerance. It's talking about empathy. All of those skills which in our society, mano ya na mano, थोड़े कम हो गए हैं.
Correct.
So if we are looking at the education policy from the, like Devendra sir said that it's holistic, right? And वो holistic approach हम सिर्फ on paper करते हैं. हम actually उसको because we don't have the time, we don't have the resources to also teach that particular skill in the classroom. We have not integrated that into the subject matter knowledge. So kahin na kahin, this NEP is giving us the opportunity to add that as well. So by and large, I think काम तो अच्छा ही कर रही है, policy इतनी बुरी नहीं है. It's just that we need to really work on implementing it properly, right?
Right.
Manisha ma'am, if you remember in the beginning or in the middle of this podcast, I said this is not new thing from the 86 if you see,
No.
but now at least we are aware of what is into that. 86 wala generally
Absolutely.
people haven't read, but now
Right.
all of us are aware what the exactly and what's the meaning of these terms. So
Yes.
in that way it's good. And top of that, once again I say the digital platforms, thankful to you all making and spreading the awareness regarding such things. Earlier it was not there.
Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you, Devinder Singh. Thank you. So
Time to
we
close.
discussed, yes, it's time to close. So
Yes,
we
battery
already
खत्म हो रही है.
discussed, we discussed many things about NEP. NEP 2020 is not about creating toppers only. It's about creating
Yeah.
thinkers, problem solvers, and confident learner basically. So when parents and school work together, policy definitely truly it will
Sure.
becomes in practice. So I hope this podcast will help other educators also.
I am sure it will help.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Manisha ma'am. Thank you, Devendra sir. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank you,
having
ma'am.
us here.
Thank you.
Yeah.